Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's LinkedIn Live. I'm Pravesh, Head of Product Management Offering, live from London, talking to Reetesh Ghosh, who's our growth leader in NORAM region, right from New York office. And today, we eventually, from HCLSoftware, are going to talk about how exactly we are bringing AI to life. And we are trying to burst certain myths that our customers eventually have already busted with the great value our products have provided. Ritesh would help us in telling stories of our customers, how exactly have they accepted and they have warm welcomed our products and exactly the value that our products have been delivering. At HCL, we are touching 20,000 plus organizations today with almost like Fortune thousands, Fortune 500s, Global 2000 companies who ideally are participating in the journey where AI would be changing not just the perspective of greater good on their operations front, but again the life of their people who ideally are bringing in this great technology to life. Welcome, Ritesh. I hope we are going to have a great session today.
These are exciting times, Pravesh. We're going to have a great session, and we've got a lovely, lovely weather in New York.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, with the first myth, eventually, I'll just straight away start with the one that we actually have been coming across. AI will disrupt the operations, right? So, if you adopt AI today, they'll disrupt the operations because most of our business leaders invested in some set of technology which is targeting their business outcomes directly today. So, if
Mm.
intelligence comes into the role, how exactly are customers going to react? And this is a myth which actually has been for most of our customers. How are your customers reacting to it?
Actually, that's a very pertinent question, Pravesh. And we've seen this happen, evolve over the last, especially the last 4 years. See, we with some of our customers that we betaed with, we created, some business-facing AI products. Uh, Taking it to the market was a different challenge, and it took us some time. Uh, COVID came and presented challenges. It disrupted, obviously, as we saw everything, and you needed disrupted technology to, produce the results, which it did, and we haven't looked back ever since. Now, generally, see, the thing is, when business, reads about AI, they read about, generative AI. They read about Chat GPT. They read about neural, networks, the AI within it, because that's a prevalent new, adoption that they're seeing in the market. But when it comes to business buying AI, the scenarios, the conversations, it changes, because what business is really looking for is, how do you make AI measurable? Is it easy to adopt? As you said, will it disrupt my my operations, the systems that I'm used to?
Mhm.
Most importantly, is will the AI respect and be responsible towards the compliance and risk thresholds? Can it be risk free?
Mhm.
So these are some of the key things that AI buyers from business are looking at. And based on experience, see, one of the best sellers that we've got is a business flow observability product.
Mhm.
The reason I bring this up is, so the moment you talk about business flow observability, most people think dashboard, and that's the first thing that comes to the mind. A dashboard is a very useful tool, but it's a visualization hub. What is it that is feeding intelligence into the dashboard is the AI, right? And that has actually found a reasonably fast adoption, especially in the last 2 to 3 years in the market.
Mhm.
So a couple of instances of that would be the most prevalent use cases are around monitoring, intelligent monitoring of business, which is divergent from the way it has traditionally been monitored. So most of the rules, the underlying wiring for the IT systems, as you talked about, it's static, right? So
Yeah.
at best, these dashboards would actually provide a kind of a near real-time view, to the business flow. What the AI has actually done is it's feeding into these dashboards the monitoring of business transactions, helping it identify, detect anomalies that can prevent a whole, a business transactions that is going to hit the PNL, disrupt and fail. Going through tons and tons of data and coming out with, the intelligent data that can create intelligent actions. I think that is exactly what business is looking at. And see, in the terms of disruption, most of the software that we've pretty much got is a bolt-on software. It sits on top of an existing IT ops environment, right? I'll take a few examples of adoption. One of our first customers actually was a payment fintech.
Mm-hmm.
It was not easy to break into that because fintechs, by nature, are big users of technology. So we broke through this account during COVID. They actually achieved a staggering, 550% return on their AI investment, by just preventing payment failures. And this was actually done at a significantly reduced cost to monitor, which is, again, where AI ops, the traditional IT ops departs and, transforms into AI ops.
Mm-hmm.
The second case was banking. The holy grail of banking, investment banking, again, is, one of the areas is compliance.
Yep.
There's a large Fortune, 500 bank. Typically would, have, and this is prevalent in the market. You typically miss these compliance reports deadlines. There is a loss to the reputation. There's a loss to revenue, significant loss to revenue. There is obviously a lot of loss to, timelines, missing of SLAs. So, they've actually very successfully used business observability to keep on to the SLA timelines and, get it to their customers, faster, better, and cheaper. So, I hope this has been able to address how business is able to adopt AI with least amount of disruption.
But how do you think that it is it getting complex for them to do such kind of an adoption, knowing that our business observability is working, right? So AI is actually predicting most of the stuff, and they're getting to know things before it actually is happening, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
complex it is for a business leader to adopt this kind of technology, because uh, you go to one customer, they may hear about AI comes in, the data gets fed in, the outcomes are observed, and the analysis happening inside is not what they know about, right? Because this is intelligence that's working. So
Hmm.
it did get complicated for them, because it was one example in your financial vertical, which is fairly regulated. How
Yeah,
about the other verticals?
yeah.
How about the other verticals?
Actually, right. It's very regulated and very difficult to break in.
Yeah.
See, as I mentioned in the last passage, was AI actually makes it easier to adopt. We've not actually seen that kind of, difficulty adopt. And the reason, let me just put it in a slightly different way. See, IT ops is your traditional, applications, your enterprise applications. The
Yeah.
AI will actually react and counter react and intuitively work with this underlying large IT ecosystem the way a human would. That's the thing that we need to get. It is not traditional, IT ops products. It's an AI that enables us to react to it, to train from it, to pick up data from it, to interpret what it is giving you, represent it, change it in the sense, update certain records the way a human would, which actually makes it, humanize the whole adoption human. Right, you talked about the regulated financial services industry. Let's talk about manufacturing, or even better, maybe oil and gas. See, most of these industries actually have very large, underlying platforms, as you know.
Hmm.
And these platforms becomes a no-touch zone. You just can't touch it. So, a large, oil and gas customer of ours, which, adopted very successfully the business flow observability, AI software from our end. They were able to get, tremendous results. I think it's about 60%, reduction in service outages just through intelligent monitoring. And guess what? Zero change management to underlying, IT ecosystem. That is the best part.
That's good. That's good. So this brings me to the second myth, okay? Because it's in continuation when you actually see the customers eventually getting excited about how the results are coming in, right?
Yeah.
There's a myth in our market and in our, which eventually I face when we talk to the analysts, we talk to our existing customers, right? Uh, they were quite scared that AI is just for the complicated environments, right? So it's majorly seen as as simple as it could be from the outside, but internally when you actually have to deploy this technology, it just is meant to be deployed into a complicated environment and for complicated problems that are there, right? So if you talk about the healthcare system, they're working on the DNAs, they're actually suggesting doctors on prescriptions, which eventually is again a analytics world, right? But how exactly do you think the business decisions that are being taken, right? So how can the customers be confident? And this myth has been there, and that your customers eventually have been talking about that. Would it be complicated? My environment is complicated. How exactly the technology would work? So how have you been able to bust this myth with your customers?
See, we talked about the business adoption.
Yeah.
We can even talk about you know include the IT environment because they're significantly impacted. So
Yeah.
traditionally, if you look at any IT ops, and you know what, this myth is actually true, and there's a basis to it. That's because in any IT ops world, when you're especially doing large rollouts, these are
Hmm.
complex, right? And again, it's also the way people have used technologies to make things simpler, but it always doesn't make it simpler. In fact, that adds more work. So I'll take a few examples. RPA, for instance, was supposed to do a lot of automation, which it did, but it's static. Organizations I know of, created hundreds and thousands of bots, and now who's going to manage them? How do you do change management on these, right? Um, you have data science that was supposed to kind of make intelligent data more intelligent to consume, but it created more data points, and you had to hire more people to kind of go through this. The same thing with monitoring. You had very simple monitoring in the good old days, right? And then now what do you see? You see every aspect of infrastructure and applications getting monitored. That's over monitoring, and that's actually burdening the ITSM systems. So we've seen this. There's a rationale behind it. um, I think what I would say here is, how does the AI depart from an IT ops world wanting to transform itself into an AI ops world and make itself easy to adopt, to train, to
Hmm.
scale, deliver the results, most importantly, make it measurable, and make it and bring some degree of human control over it, which is also addressing the fear factor on AI. AI is supposed to make it simple. It's supposed to make adoption simple, training it simple, making results measurable simple. The scope within which it is being deployed, uh, um, you know, uh, is it easy to scope it out? And the last part is, also, can you make it fun? Um, I think this is a lot to do with, again, the human aspect of AI, which is all about training. And I
Hmm.
think at HCL Software, particularly DRYiCE, we have been very, very fortunate, Pravesh, as you know. See, for 25 years, we've been solving real world problems for people, right? We've like thousands and thousands of customer engagements. So the genesis of our AI products really started as productivity tools many years back, and evolved over the 25 years into what you see today as full-fledged, full stack observability, full stack automation products. Uh, but it's gone through that massive amount of experience of real world problems and
Yeah.
solving those real world problems. That is really the ultimate, putting your AI, you're baptized through fire, you're putting its feet to fire, and you're making it work. So I think the second part about the whole intelligence of AI is, in a typical IT world, you have the IT ops world, which is typically again the enterprise hub. What does
Hmm.
the AI do? Is it can like a human? Is it able to intelligently read from this hub? Is it able to make the right inferences, read the language as a human being would? Is it able to now, before making the inferences, is it able to go through large volumes of data that is actually just generated on hourly, daily basis, and pick up those ones that are relevant, and then identify the right solutions? We've got intelligent runbook automation. That's exactly what it does. It finds the right solution to the problem that is going on, and sometimes, and many times actually, you will actually see problems happening that have not happened before. How would a human think? Can the AI replicate that thinking? Can it work with you and research and find out what a solution can be? And before implementing a solution, before applying the AI to remediate, um,
Hmm.
can it check the person that created that AI? Has that person given me the right confidence score that I can run it? So how many checks do I have to do? How many permissions do I need to seek before I run this? To a point where you can actually do zero touch deployment. So I'll take the example of and then the last part is feeding this feedback back to the enterprise hubs. As I was saying, the example that I would want to take is of a very large Fortune 500 customer.
Hmm.
They adopted one of our products, which is it was data center automation, intelligent automation.
Yeah.
So they deployed it about, I think, a little close to about 2 years back, but uh, uh, amazing results. nearly about 45% of the whole automation is now on zero touch. And I remember the days 2 years back when it took about nearly 4 to 5 months for them to start putting them into production because it ran in UAT. They had to train it, get confident. And then today, 45% is running in zero touch. That's an amazing result, don't you think, Pravesh?
That indeed is, and I'm quite confident my products are doing really good for you, right, and your customers. That
Thank you,
brings me to the
Pravesh.
third and very important myth, right? And you would agree with me that whenever we actually are talking to our customers, right, there is a cultural resistance that we see
Yeah,
because we
correct.
have been observing that AI definitely would play hand in hand role for many of the problems that we have been trying to solve through our hands, through putting hands on the keyboards, right? The whole area where we just are trying to emphasize where humans and AI can actually work together, right? Still we are seeing most of our customers, and specifically people who are literally trying to get their world secure, people who they care for, the skills who have been bringing the businesses up, they really want to see that how exactly would this not be impacting my people, right? This is where the cultural resistance come. How have you been able to bust this myth for your customers? And I definitely have the answer for this one, but I want to hear from you that where exactly have you been able to nail this problem for the customers, where the customers are confident now we are not taking away the skill set, rather we are upskilling people with bringing in this particular technology and putting this back into the culture, that this is where the new world is altogether. So why don't you just let us know how did you bust this myth?
Pravesh, that's a great myth to actually end today's session. Uh, See, we've learned, we've now deployed AI products and platforms at over 300 customers over the globe, and each one has been a learning experience. One of the things that we learned is, have your own, employees, adopted some of this. So, you would have seen it. The product engineering teams have seen it. We were one of the first in the industry to adopt enterprise, AI toolkits and co-pilots. Um, so that is one. The second part is, let me take a stab at this particular myth from a couple of points of view.
Hmm.
See, most AI IT ops software rollouts, as we covered in the previous myth, from in terms of deployment and implementation, is a long run process.
Hmm.
Also, the training is, and to what you alluded, to as the cultural, training on these softwares is a long run process. What we've really seen is the AI, it actually helps and makes it significantly simpler.
Hmm.
We can look at this from a viewpoint of the IT team in an organization, a customer organization that is tasked to deliver, work with us in deploying these softwares.
Hmm.
See, it's a very exciting thing for them. See, AI is new. So look at an environment where they're able to play with an AI software, train it up, deploy it, and the most important thing I think you Lloyd alluded to, the gratification of actually deploying it and seeing early results, and then growing results as the AI is trained and it is kind of learning. So that is one way of looking at it. Another way would be, as we are seeing in the market today, Pravesh, um, a lot of digital transformation that has actually started off. If you look at the people that are delivering these digital transformations at their organizations, the
Hmm.
common things that they want to deliver, it's user experience, it's customer experience, it's employee experience, and that is exactly what the AI is designed to do. Because that's where the humanization of AI comes in. It helps you deliver that human experience. It's easier. How do you make the AI easy to adopt and to understand, to train on? That's another aspect of it, right? Which is where, can it read the way you are reading it? Reading language. Can you interpret the way can the AI interpret the way you read and interpret things? Um, can it also kind of learn? The last part to this humanization is also the empathy part, which is actually now being built into AI. especially when it's responding to, for example, a very irate customer
Hmm.
trying to get through through something that has actually, caused it irritation. Can the AI, kind of, calm that person down? Yes, we're actually seeing that happen.
Yeah.
Um, the third part of this is insurance industry is also trying to pick up, on AI. We generally are seeing it in starting to see it in claims processing, fraud. Well, one of the areas that is new is underwriting.
Right.
So we are actually seeing early cases where an underwriter as an SME is a very sought after commodity in an insurance company, and massive bandwidth to time, right? We've got products where we're starting to digital twin an underwriter so that the person can train that particular AI, model it after itself. What a kick, kick to the ego. Like, I've got a mini me that I can train and I can deploy it and thereby increase my bandwidth and address a lot more things than I was able to do, and
Yeah.
thereby increasing the productivity. Again, this is how over months a digital twin gets trained by the SME that owns it.
Yeah.
So these are some of the ways we are seeing, how cultural and adoption and training is happening in terms of deploying AI.
But thank you, Ritesh, because you just have resonated the essence that we want to deliver into our customers, right? And this is these are three basic myths that we even have been observing. And self-praise is no recommendation. Products are my babies, right? So I cannot go and say keep on saying they're good, they're best. But coming from you, who's actually talking to customers, who's eventually looking at what problems customers are talking about, and busting these myths would actually help us to portray our products in the way they actually are delivering value to our customers, right? And thank you, Ritesh, again. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize that the power of HCL Software's full stack AIOps and observability product suite empowering 300 plus customers that we have today, right? The suites actually enables resilience, predictive, and always on digital services and for agile IT infrastructure, customers. And it ideally would help the businesses, not just the IT, but also the business leaders to make right decisions with the recommendations these engines are bringing. Our 300 plus customers have already experienced this value. We would want everyone to just have faith in how exactly AI is coming and helping most of our customers. And I would actually encourage all our viewers today, please go and check out the case studies that we are going to share with you on all these good things that we're doing for our customers. It has been great session. Ritesh, thanks from London, and I hope New York actually sees a good sunshine. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you, Pravesh.